there is one part of the article which really piqued my interest, and that was, quote, "They threatened suicide and you rolled over," end quote. And the reason this piqued my interest is this is a very signature move by a one Rose of Dawn. I've actually gone ahead and in the transcript you will see a link to a timestamped response to Rosa Dawn, in which I actually explore this issue, because Rosa Dawn calls this the abuser's narrative. Now, what is the abuser's narrative? Okay, well, in domestic situations, and indeed in all situations actually, a power move that abusive people can do in order to avoid accountability is use the threat of self-harm or suicide to avoid that accountability. That accountability can be anything from someone reporting their actions, someone going public, someone leaving their domestically abusive partner, etc. If you leave me, if you talk about this, I will commit suicide. That is an abusive narrative. What is not an abusive narrative is recognizing that certain social institutions and the changes made to them will have an impact on the well-being of entire demographics and can result in those demographics having higher rates of attempted suicide. Rosa Dawn likes to conflate the two. In the video I'm talking about, it is a video covering her lies in relation to the Tavistock v. Bell case. She goes on the facts that Mermaids, which is an LGBT plus support charity, pointed out the facts that removing medical, like Gillett competence for minors and also medical autonomy for under 18s. Reminder that in the UK, 16 is the age of full medical consent. So by declaring trans people couldn't medically transition until they were 18, trans people had been legally declared as second-class citizens in the exact same vein as was once the case in relation to sexual consent. For those who don't know, in the UK, sexual consent for gay men used to be 21, it then became 18 and was finally equalized to 16. So in the exact same way, they had been declared second-class citizens. I have a video, it is an hour long, correcting all of the lies Rosa Dawn made, because she makes so many lies. It is her career. That's how she bolsters herself. And part of it is this conflation between, pointing out the facts that when they are denied essential, life-saving healthcare, trans people's attempted suicide rates increase. That is not the same as an abuser saying, if you attempt to hold me accountable, I am going to harm myself. This is about their autonomy, not yours. An abuser uses the threat of suicide to control your autonomy as the victim. What Mermaids and other groups are doing, and what is being referenced here, is the facts that if you strip young trans people of their autonomy, they feel hopeless and there is nothing they can do. Okay? You would not say, if a victim of domestic abuse came out and said, I just felt so hopeless, I tried taking my own life, you would not say that is domestic abuse. You would acknowledge the facts that they are in an abusive situation, they are the one who have had the control taken away from them, they are doing the last thing. They can't control their life, so they can at least control their death. Okay? That is one of the bases upon which a person will attempt suicide. This trying to recapture control. Okay? That's the difference here. People like Rosa Dawn completely lie about that. Which is interesting, considering my first interaction with Rosa Dawn is her promoting someone who used self-harm to escape me criticizing them. After they spent 3 months harassing me, violating my block of them, I criticized them and said I would not apologize for pointing out their abject transphobia, and then they made the power move because I was holding them accountable. Rosa Dawn rode in and supported them. So it's really interesting to see how Rosa Dawn does this. Of course, Rosa Dawn was part of the BBC article and has been promoting it and continuing to promote it even as Lily Cade's history of sexual violence became widespread and well known. And she has continued to do that. She has continued to defend the serial rapist even after the threats of lynching have come out. And I need to stress this. I have the actual quote. There is a link to an archive copy. I haven't actually put the link there. I'll put that there later. She has stated, quote, "The following two statements can be true at the same time. Lily Cade is unhinged, has called for the deaths of trans women, and has also faced accusations of sexual assault. Some lesbians have faced pressure to date trans women under threat of being labelled bigots. Just putting this out there because Lily Cade's repulsive tirade will be used to discredit the recent BBC article, which caused quite a stir, and I predict it will be taken down on that basis. Note here." End quote. Note here. "And has also faced accusations of sexual assault." This was posted yesterday, okay? This was posted yesterday. We have long since got past the point where, I'm sorry, I do apologise about the train. Just going to let that go past a little bit. That is a very heavy train. I was having such a moment. I'm sure I will cut this out if I do end up uploading separately. Good enough. Okay. But yes, note the facts that we are well and truly beyond the point where it's accusations. Lily Cade's admission, her confession that she has raped multiple people, naming 3 of them, has been out there for about a week now. And Rosa Dawn is still lying to her viewers, pretending like she has faced accusations of sexual assault, which, by the way, in the very language, is kind of trivializing what actually occurred. I believe you had some points about this when I talked to you before the show, Levi.
Yes, I am too tired to remember the special term for it, but you may, if you've studied writing, you may have heard of like these zombie sentences where basically they cut out the subject of this, they cut out the person who is doing the thing. And the way you can tell if it's this kind of sentence is if you add by zombies, then it makes sense. So instead of
it is
it works either way,
and has also faced accusations of sexual assault.
It works either way. I could be wrong.
Either.
My point is like it's written in a way that really sucks the energy out. It's not like she was accused.
It's just face accusations. And like the whole notion of face past tense, the notion of face past tense also suggests like it was unfounded and she's overcome it.
Yeah.
You know, there's also that implication there. But again, it has been widely spread about that Lily Cade is a serial rapist. She has admitted to this. It is well known. Here is a link to her confession. And yet Rosa Dawn is still lying to her viewers because she has to. Because this information was out like days before the manifesto came out. So the fact that she didn't say anything then as she continued to promote it, it begins to look a little iffy, especially when Rosa Dawn's entire thing is pretending like she takes a hardline stance against sexual predators when, again, the gender critical movement as a whole is defined by its predatory nature in ideology and action. Not some invented cabal, anti-Jewish, anti-Semitic conspiracy. Actual evidence we have supplied throughout this 3-hour thing. And again, links to everything we've discussed in the description. There's a transcript, you can get it there. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything you want to add on to that.
Nope.
Okay, but I just wanted to point that out because, yeah, it's interesting really to watch how she is trying to worm her way out of this when, no, she has helped promote a sexual predator, a serial rapist.
And nobody was shocked.
Nobody was shocked. And it kind of points to this whole bigger issue here in, again, this is the Gender Critical Manifesto. This is the defining compilation of what it means to be gender critical. This Elliot Rodger style manifesto just shows us that Caroline Lowbridge, is Lily Cade. Rosa Dawn is Lily Cade. Graham Linehan is Lily Cade. Kathleen Stock is Lily Cade. Rachel Oates is Lily Cade. Get the L Out is Lily Cade. Linda Bellos is Lily Cade. J.K. Rowling is Lily Cade. All of these people that have promoted, trans women as violent monsters and everything like this, and, trans men as vulnerable girls, these are all part of the same ideology. They use the same language, they use the same rhetoric, they demonize trans people, You can't escape that. And don't let them escape that. Don't refer to what Lily Cade wrote as anything but the Gender Critical Manifesto. Never let them forget. Never let the BBC forget. Never let Caroline forget. Never let Rosa Dawn forget. Keep on it. Keep pointing it out. Keep vigilance. Stay woke. I realize that's what I was kind of getting to here. But the point is, don't let them get away with it. Keep their feet on the fire, and eventually they're going to burn out. This whole thing has been interesting because there have been gender criticals out there, again, I mentioned this earlier, who are like, oh, all of these people in this article are heroes. And then later on, who is Lily Cade? Why are they important in this conversation? Rosa Dawn is pretending like Lily's role in the story was like a minor one, kind of irrelevant. It's like she forwards herself as the cotton ceiling woman. The whole buzzword, the whole Planned Parenthood are secretly teaching trans women how to rape lesbians conspiracy. She is not a small part of the story. She is the story. And you're a character in it. So, that's what I really wanted to say.